let me tell you guys, sometimes you can be so organized and all your plans fail. And the Lord may even begin to slice off those plans, just like He removed the soldiers and they went back. God can begin to remove your plans one by one and only remain with a plan that looks very weak. And that is what God will use to bring the breakthrough, to bring the answer. You know, that plan that you look at and you're like, yeah, this one I'm just putting it here, but I'm not sure whether it's going to work. But God may use that which looks very weak, that which looks very small, to bring the breakthrough that you're trusting Him to bring. Hi there, and welcome to With Wanza. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Wanza, and I'm glad to be sharing what I'll be sharing with you today. But before I share, guys, have you subscribed to With Wanza? If you have not, please make sure that you subscribe and like this video and comment and probably even share this video with someone who you know needs to hear it. Today I'm talking about something that I feel is really relevant for so many people in this season that we are in, and I'm talking to people who are trusting God for victories and certain breakthroughs in their lives, and or you're seeking answers from God. This video is for you if you're fitting the category that I have described. And I'm basing this word from Judges chapter 6 and 7, the story of Gideon. And so if you're trusting God for breakthroughs, then you really want to listen to this message. And what I'm speaking about is that God brings victories in very strange ways. That is what I'm speaking about. And so what I'm basically saying is that God's ways of bringing victories are not necessarily our ways. You know, God will probably bring victories in what seems to be strange ways, very different ways than we expected. And looking at the story of Gideon, Gideon was a person that was chosen by God during a time when the Israelites were crying out to God because they were being oppressed by their enemies, who are the Midians. And so the Israelites were crying out to God saying, who is we need to be rescued from this. And God raised Gideon to save the Israelites from the hard time that they were going through. And so when the angel of the Lord appeared to Gideon in chapter 6, he referred to Gideon as someone who was highly favored. All right, okay, not highly favored, but he referred to him as a mighty warrior, you know. And Gideon is actually responding to the angel and telling him, I come from the list of the clans, which is Manasseh. I come from the list of the clans, and I am the least in my family. That is what the Gideon is telling the angel. But the angel tells him to go in the strength that he had. Remember, first of all, that the angel of the Lord is referring to him as a mighty warrior, and this is not how Gideon saw himself. Probably physically looking at him, he didn't look like he had muscles and he was strong, and he probably was not even a soldier who went to war, but God chose him and he looked at him as a mighty warrior. And so this is the first lesson that we learn, that first, guys, the way you see yourself may not be the way is not the way God sees you. And probably if you are at a place where you look at yourself and you see yourself as not able to do anything, that is not the way God sees us. The Lord has put something in each and every one of us, and He has put a lot of potential in us to be able to achieve a lot, despite how you look at yourself, despite of how you look at yourself or how other people look at you. The reality is that God looks at you as someone who has a lot of potential, because He is the one who has put the potential in you. And so going to this story, that was not even part of the things that I was gonna say about this story. But before I even go to sharing the 3 points that I wanted to share, is that Gideon was chosen as weak as he saw himself, as disqualified as he saw himself, and God used him to bring the victory that was needed for the Israelites to at least be able now to live without being disturbed by their enemies, who are the Midians. God chose Gideon to be the leader. He gave him soldiers and he defeated the Midians, all right? And so, looking at this story of Gideon, there are three things that I wanted to share with us for those that are trusting God for breakthroughs. God has strange ways of bringing breakthroughs, but I want to break that down into 3 points. The first thing that I wanted to share is that God will will not use the things that qualify you, guys. Sometimes, or will not use the qualifications that you think are necessary for you to get that which you're trusting God for, or the breakthrough that you're expecting. Sometimes in our own analyzing, we say, these are the qualifications that I need in order to be able to do A, B, C, D. So and so is better placed because they have these qualifications and I don't have them. And so we have these ways of using qualifications. I need to do A, B, C, D so that I can qualify to do A, B, C, D. Guys, I'm not against qualifications, and they are a good thing. But the danger with depending on qualifications in themselves is beginning to think that it is because of those qualifications that we have the breakthrough, that we have the answers, that we have the victories, while it is not the case. Qualifications are good, but do not you put trust in the qualifications. Put your trust in God. Gideon was not qualified, humanly speaking, all right? He was not such a strong soldier. There's nowhere we are told about Gideon being this mighty warrior in terms of what we call a mighty warrior in the natural realm. He was not this mighty warrior physically looking at him. And I'm not saying God cannot use such a person. I'm just saying that sometimes God will not use the qualifications that you think he will use. God qualified Gideon, but not through the normal way that we know. And so if you're at a place where you're probably even looking down on yourself thinking, I'm not even qualified, the Lord is saying, what does qualifications mean to you? Does it mean are you looking at yourself in the natural eye and disqualifying yourself because of that? Because God referred to Gideon as a mighty warrior. And so God sees you different than you see yourself. And so do not disqualify yourself because you look at yourself as not having certain qualifications. And do not over-rely on your qualifications thinking that it is because of your qualifications that something will work out, all right? And the second point that I wanted to share concerning the strange ways that God is going to bring the answers to the things that you're seeking him about is that God is not going to use your plans. He may not use your plans, guys. Sometimes when you're trusting God for a breakthrough, we have plans from here to wherever. You have 1,001 plans. If plan A does not work, I'm going to plan B. Plan B doesn't work, I'm going to C. You even have backup upon backup upon backup. But God may not even use any of those plans, guys, and he will come slicing your plans off one by one. When Gideon was going to war, he initially had 40,000 soldiers. But God said, no, you're not going to war with 40 soldiers, because when victory comes, they will begin to think it's because of their expertise in fighting that they won against the Midians. And so the Lord said, I'm going to slice them. And the Lord removed all those soldiers and remained with only 300. Out of 40,000 soldiers, God only used 300 soldiers to bring the victory that was needed to the Israelites. And why did God do that? So that all the glory may return to him. And that is what he says in chapter 6. And so sometimes the danger of having all these plans is because you can begin to think it is because I was so well organized that this breakthrough came, that this answer came. Let me tell you guys, sometimes you can be so organized and all your plans fail. And the Lord may even begin to slice off those plans, just like he removed the soldiers and they went back. God can begin to remove your plans one by one and only remain with a plan that looks very weak. And that is what God will use to bring the breakthrough, to bring the answer. That plan that you look at and you're like, yeah, this one I'm just putting it here, but I'm not sure whether it's going to work. But God may use that which looks very weak, that which looks very small, to bring the breakthrough that you're trusting him to bring. So don't look down on it. Trust God to show you the plan. Sometimes he will use a very weak plan to bring the breakthrough. That point that I wanted to share is that God will not use the normal way to bring the breakthrough, guys. You know, sometimes we have normal ways of breakthroughs. You know, you expect that you should get a job when you apply, but sometimes God will use a strange way of just speaking to someone so that they come and be the answer that you're praying to God for. And so God uses strange ways, guys. He may use the people you least expect. Maybe there are connections you're building with the hope that that connection is the one that is going to bring the breakthrough that I'm trusting God in. But God is saying that I may not even use that connection that you're thinking about. I will use the connection you least think about so that all the glory may come to me. You know, sometimes you may even get a call from a person you never talked to for a very long time, and they have the answer to what you're seeking God about. And so God has strange ways sometimes of working. And so don't be so fixed to think that God is gonna bring that breakthrough the normal way being, you know, expecting that this is how breakthroughs come, and so it must come this way. The Lord may choose to bring that breakthrough in a very different way. All right, when Gideon went to war with the 300 men that remained, he probably thought that they were going to you know, the normal way you would think is that they would go to fight through swords, but God did not use swords. You know, they were basically to blow trumpets and you know, break the jars that they had, and they had torchlights. That's all they were to use, and that brought confusion to the soldiers who were at a camp, and they flew and they were eventually killed, you know. And so they defeated the Midianites, not through the normal way of battles being won, where people go and they fight with swords. So God may not bring that breakthrough the normal way that you're used to. He may use very strange ways. Sometimes all you have to do is praise God and He will bring the breakthrough. Sometimes He will use a very strange person to bring the breakthrough. So God has strange ways, ways that are not normal to bring breakthrough. So don't limit your mind to only what you know should be a breakthrough, or how you think a breakthrough should come. The Lord has very strange ways of bringing breakthroughs. All right. And so, having shared these 3 points, one is that be reminded that God has very strange ways of answering prayers and bringing breakthroughs and victories. And so, trust Him fully that He may work out His plan, and even seek Him and ask Him to show you where you probably need to rely on Him more, where you have not relied on Him more. And as we do this, I'm praying that the Lord will answer you as you call on Him, and I pray that you will have a testimony to share of how the Lord has come through for you. If you'd like me to pray with you, you can write to me in the comment section, or just get in touch with me directly, and I'll be able to pray with you. So thank you so much for listening, and I believe that this message has blessed you. If you know someone who needs to hear it, you can share it with them. Subscribe to my channel, and have a wonderful time until I see you next. Bye.